So guys, I want to talk about AEW really quick, and there's something that's really been bothering me about Mark Briscoe. And I've said this many, many times that, Mark Briscoe has a really great voice, and he is something very interesting and compelling, and he also has a really great story where, he has a lot of family love and he cares a lot about his family. There's something to be said about, him being a world champion for AEW or having like a match with Moxley. They're both like hardcore wrestlers. Like Moxley does it more for shock value because he likes violence. And with Mark Briscoe is more representative of blood, sweat, and tears. So I really think that, at one point in the future, you need to have Jon Moxley versus Mark Briscoe for the World Heavyweight title. It could be something where you build it as a television match, or you can build it as a pay-per-view match. I think with AEW Dynasty, there's a couple of options. They could do Eddie Kingston versus Jon Moxley, or they can do Mark Briscoe versus Jon Moxley, or they could have another wrestler on the roster as well, really, versus Jon Moxley, maybe Adam Page, really. But the point of it is that I really feel that Mark Briscoe really needs to be in the World Heavyweight Championship picture. And I've said this before, that he was the Ring of Honor champion last year, and he did a hell of a job. Like, I know, for the Texas show, he was at Blood and Guts in Nashville, and then he defended his title at Death Before Dishonor against, I forgot his name. He's the guy who looks like Johnny Knoxville, but Roderick Strong. And then he was also on the Collision show. So he had like three showings, really. And then, why not turn that into something? Like, talk about him being like this blood, sweat, and tears type of wrestler, really. And going after the heavyweight title or going after the television title. So I really think he's lost a lot of relevancy. But also, like, with his voice and talking like, a redneck Slim Shady, there's so much that you can do with him, and he's very, very underutilized. It's just very, very fucking unfortunate that they don't see the potential in him. And it's very unfortunate because there is a story to be told. There is a story about, maybe a man who is almost 40. He's not won like a major heavyweight title on television. Like, like the AEW Championship, the WWE, the Universal Championship, the IWGP Championship are all really the major ones. Definitely Ring of Honor, the ECW title when it was on WWE, and TNA title. They are heavyweight championships, but they're not as major, really. So it does say something when he says, I want both titles. I can represent this company a lot more. I know how to build the next generation. I don't look down at the next generation. There's so much things that you can kind of do with you. There's so many things that you can do between Moxley and Mark Briscoe. So it definitely, very, very much pains me, why, they don't do anything with him, why he's just there to be there. I think there's a lot of storytelling you can get out of Mark Briscoe. So it's one of these things that he's very underrated. And then the other thing I've talked about many, many times is that if he's done all these things for Ring of Honor, he's been a former Ring of Honor champion, it's good to book him very, very strongly, because then you're saying to everybody, hey, you know what? Mark Briscoe, he was a Ring of Honor champion. You see like how he did a lot of great things on that show, and now he's doing a lot of great things on this show. So the Ring of Honor title means something because he was developed. He was purchased through the Ring of Honor deal, and now he's on our television show. We actually make Ring of Honor matter by having champions that transition to the main roster and do well. Oh, isn't that very similar to NXT? Or isn't that very similar to when they had ECW in WWE? It just makes a lot of sense to do something like that. It's just very, very unfortunate that he's not well invested in. Definitely, like I said, and I hate saying this, he's too old to go to WWE, but if he went to WWE, he could be a major star, really, because imagine him, having a match and talking crazy like that, that would draw an audience. That would be something, really. But the thing about it is that there's a lot of untapped potential in him. And I think, feuding over the World Heavyweight title, the AEW Championship would be a really great option for him. There's so many storytelling that you can do. And with the right, babyface heel dynamic, he can be one of those rising stars, really. But he's definitely one of those people that's just there to be there. And that's very fucking unfortunate. Mark Briscoe really needs to be wrestling for the AEW World Championship sooner than later.